and do 4 boards. Quite a few years ago, before I even had a YouTube channel, I created a Christmas tree sign that I absolutely loved. It was Joanna Gaines inspired. I didn't even know what I was doing. I had a Cricut. I didn't even know what paints to use. And I use it year after year. I still love it. So how about a tattered, nothing special frame? There's nothing special about this. It's probably dirty. and So I want to put a board in it. You can buy workable sheets of plywood at Home Depot. I'm sure the other big box hardware stores you can do that too. So we can make an insert and make this into a sign. I'm sure you spend a little bit more money to have these pre-cut pieces that you just grab off the shelf. It's what works for me, y'all. So we pay for convenience sometimes. So I'm going to got that butted all the way up to the side. I have a straight edge in the hopes that I can run this all the way down until when I make my first cut on the bandsaw, I can same thing. Hold on. Just making it go down. So now I'm doing this way. And then I've got my square to cut. Okay, if I cut right, we will fit. We fit. I'm going to probably use, you can see, you know how it is, it bows. So I'm going to attach it this way. So I'm going to run a little bit of glue around the edges. Why do we get the tall bottles that? Because they want to make it inconvenient. So we want to buy new ones, right? Is that how that works? So now I'm going to stick that in. Because I'm working with the bow. That way I can push it down. And I'm actually going to use my picture framer, which I think will hold that in place better than trying to do. It's not a very thick frame. I'm actually thinking to myself, I'm like, why haven't I done that before? I probably have caused way too much work for myself before, trying to get staples in there and little brad nails, and I could have been doing that the whole time. Well, not the whole time, but isn't it funny what we come up with in the middle of crafting, going, why didn't I do that earlier? Going around my edges, seeing if any of the glue squirts out, which that means it's nice and tight the way I want it to be. So perfect. Go ahead. I want to do this like a the inside like a darker than a white. So I'm doing the cashmere. I did not seal anything in the hopes that this will just soak right into that wood. And as you see, it's doing amazing coverage because it's soaking right in. Using the Fusion's picket fence. Oh, how did I drip? It'd be okay. Yeah. The paint's still wet. I'm just gonna give it a little bit of character. I just rub it in. Shh, nobody will know. Okay, a few thousand people might know, but it's all good. Yep, it's got a nice edge to it. So I'll just butt it up against that. And then clean that. See? Be as messy of a painter as you want, and then just clean up your mess. I didn't want to wait for 2 different paints to dry to tape off. So I just go around the edge a little bit. Yep, you see a horse. So I'm gonna try to do on the frame a dashing through the snow. I'm just trying to see if I see a horse silhouette that, you know, like something simple like that. Like let's not put too much thought into it. Let's just, you know, like that. I don't need details. I just, you know, dashing through the snow. I seem like that one seems to work, but I don't know if I like lay it down if it'll look right. Okay, I'm thinking this one. That's what I'm thinking. Where'd it go? There. Oh, I accidentally did too. Okay. Okay, so now I did a text box. Now I'm going to do dashing through the snow with the hopes that I just spelled everything right. And then I'm going to find like a fancy font. Something cursive, maybe? Decorative. That's not bad. Like when you're doing vinyl, you want your letter. I like my letters to be a little bit bigger. Can I flip him? I kind of like him that way because I got the little, like the H going up. And I'm going to just make sure there are some other ones, like, because I don't know about, it's got some funkiness going on with his legs, maybe. Let me see if I like this guy better. Sorry, horse. And it isn't, you know, we're just getting the cutout of it is what we're looking for. So I do want my letters to overlap a little bit, but to size it, to know what size I need to cut it out, I needed to group it together. That way I can work on it as a grouping. And then apparently they had an update. So my board is 18 by 16, so I don't want it all the way out to the edge. So I think 16 by 14 without making my sizes really weird. See if so I have, this is my dashing through the snow, and then this is my horse, which is filling up a lot of that space. Okay, we are dry. Let's go ahead and sand and see what we got underneath. Got my horse, got my dashing through the snow. I'm going to condition my mat or my vinyl before putting it on there. Probably too much. That's probably dirtier than I think there. Okay. Oh yeah. That way it doesn't stick to the vinyl so terribly, just enough to hold it. Okay. The easy part. And I'm really just going to eyeball. I mean, the nice thing about using the paper like this, the transfer tape like this, is you have, it's got a grid pattern to it. So I'm going to bring it down a little. I like to kind of back mine with some tape. I cut really close to my image. That way it makes it a little bit easier. I don't even know if I need it here, but just in case, it makes it a little bit easier to center. You know, you don't have so much paper. Just what I do. My stencil color, I'm going to use some of Fusion's Coal Black. As you notice, I have the big old things of, because you use black and white a lot. So I'm just going to use a makeup sponge from the Dollar Tree store. And we're just going to go ahead and just a little bit of paint on there. So So I ended up changing to a brush because I thought, you see the swirl marks? It's just a big area. I wish I just had like a one-use tiny roller. Is there such a thing? Let me know. Drop me a comment if there is. It's still let under. This vinyl was supposed to give you crisp lines, but it's okay. I never worry because I always distress my pieces anyway. Before sanding it, before putting my lettering on, I want to make sure that I am dry though. I just want to smear. And blow on any of that sanding dust off. Go ahead and put this on the vinyl now. And I got one little piece that went in there. Oh my goodness. Do you see it? Ah! I don't know if there will be snow. A little piece that does not like me. Oh, at least this doesn't seem to stretch like vinyl. I say that and it probably just did, but I mean, it is vinyl, but it's a little different. Y'all are thinking, I'm glad that I'm just watching. Isn't that what you're thinking? Oh, got my dashing. Got my eye. No, I'm not using black. I think I'm going to probably, I'm a green girl. Mustard was sticking right out at me, so I think I'm going to do mustard. What? I know. I wasn't sure if you'd see it enough. I felt like dashing through the snow should have some snowflakes, so I was trying to pick something that wasn't too terrible to weed, because there's a lot of detail in some of those, so I was just looking for something little. Well, that one probably would have been better, but that doesn't matter. I already am going to cut them out. So okay, so let's see how many of these I can put on. So let's see how many of these I can put on. I just have to decide. You just have to, right? You got to just decide where you're gonna put them. I'm gonna use a little bit of Fusion's clear coat to seal the edges of these in, not to have the problem that I did on the other lettering. That kind of bled, which wasn't terrible. So I'm just going to go over it with some of the Fusion. So 2 coats. Well, it looked like the top coat helped. I don't want to take the power sander and like sand it all the way off, so I'm just going to take some 220 just to blend. That was a fun one to do. I thoroughly, I mean, cricketing is always hard, but I'm just using some finishing. I'd like to say cricketing is easy. Fusions, probably if I used it like every day, it would be different, but I don't use it every day. And if you were asked to ask me what project I do takes the longest, sign making. Because not only do you have to paint and prep the item, but then you have to go and create your stencil. And with some aging wax. I always like the way that the darker wax gets into like the imperfections of the plywood that's underneath here. I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. Now I just need to back it. So I'm just going to use some double stick tape. And a little bit of contractor's paper. Just press it into there. Just taking the electric sander around to sand off the edge. This actually isn't very heavy, so I'm just going to center 22, one of these little hammer and pane systems. Well, I didn't know I was going to make my own sign until Goodwill was like, hey, for $8, which you can't even buy wood for $8 now. I think, okay, let's round up to 9. You can't even buy wood. It's already weathered. So the nice thing about this is I don't have to do much other than paint it into the colors that I'm looking for. I could cut them off, but I think it's just easier just to take them off. I'm sure I could have cut it off and just left the staples, but it's all good. Now this sign I just want the back to be white. I'm going to distress it. I don't care if it soaks in the wood. It's supposed to look like this is going to be a Christmas tree farm sign. So it's supposed to look like somebody just took some wood. They needed a sign to sell their Christmas trees, so I'm not going to put a lot of extra thought into it. So I'm going to be using Picket Fence by Fusion. Now, this has a primer, top coat, all in one. So it's a nice paint. And I'm not looking for this, oh, I got to cover every little thing and have a brand new paint job. Nope. We're going to make this at the end look like it's been worn out in the weather. Thing is just to get it on. The nice thing about having something look rustic is you don't have to have this complete coverage, because I'm going to actually sand it before putting my stencil on. Sometimes I miss my silhouette because I could have done the whole wording on that. They say you can on the Cricut, but I have yet to ever figure that out. It tells me, my machine tells me. So if you know how to do that, let me know, because my machine's always telling me, no, you have to have a mat. No, you have to. I'm like, okay. Okay, here's some fun. All right. won't be able to add that one yet, but, or maybe I will. Let's go match up the lines. Oh, this one's not exactly where it needs to be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And match up my lines. Nobody want to do this project. Just enjoy the content, y'all. Like my horse, I'm going to put my previous color, my first color down so I don't get that bleed under. Yeah, this stencil, no. I mean this vinyl. I thought, well, that sounds wonderful. It's the only thing different, it's blue. Oop, I forgot in line. Oopsie-daisy. So I have Fort York Red and Depressed Fern by Fusion. I'm going to do most of my lettering red, but I thought it would be fun to kind of get a little extra one in there. I think my paint is probably, it's a little bit more like paste. I probably don't use these colors until Christmas comes around. Okay, so I did 2 coats, so now I'm just trying to help it along to dry a little bit. Yep, much better doing the base color underneath. It is sad that products nowadays can really, it's false claims. But I should have known better. What was I thinking? That's okay. I'm just going to finish it up, even though it has a top coat. I've sanded it. I just want to put a little bit of Fusion's clear wax just to finish this up. So I have some eyelet hooks. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball to put a hanger on here because I have to go over this. And then just some 17 gauge wire. More challenging. I found these in somebody's booth at an antique mall, like extremely cheap. And I'm like, oh my gosh, cheap. And I think they were $8, and then it was 20% off, y'all. Still, hello, look at that wonderful detail. And it looks like somebody used them in their garden or whatever. So they were old fence, which I love that. I love green too, but I don't know which one I'd pick. Would I pick that or would I pick the green? But I need to figure out how I can get these together. Yes, my ends are together. They're long. And then these don't all line up. So let me take my price tag strings off first. Do something so I can have two. Okay, so here's my situation after sanding them. You can tell that they painted the back side where the other pieces of wood would have been. So these didn't sand too bad, more towards the bottom. So that's okay. So I think for these ones, I told you I like that side too. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Flip these over, and then I'm going to get, a lot of times I'll use paint sticks to attach two things together like this. Okay, I'm going to run a bead of glue. That just kind of helps, even though you're attaching the two pieces, it's nice to have the two sides attached to each other also. Just going to try to match that up. Take a clamp. Clamp them together so that they're tight. Yep, that helps. And then these are I just buy paint sticks and bolts. You can buy crafting paint sticks off of Amazon. I use them for a lot of projects. So then we'll just use the paint stick as like a brace there, and then staple gun it in. Took the clamps off. Now I'm just taking a Japanese saw and cutting down these paint sticks. So now I'm going to take the sander and I'm going to round off those edges a little bit, so hopefully you don't see them too. I am going to paint them, don't worry y'all. I know it's the back, but I want to round those edges off a little bit. I would like to say that staples go all the way in when you staple them, but they usually don't. Not on my route when I'm using it, so I'm just make sure they're hammered in. Here for a sign lesson, and I'm showing you the back, but I'm showing you how to finish off the back. Especially, I'm probably going to resell at least one of these. I'm just going to put a coat of paint, just some fusion. I round off the sides because you don't necessarily, when you're cutting with a Japanese saw, get it completely flush. I went to Pinterest looking for some free printable outline letters to do like Santa and do a long version. So what I did is, here is the whole alphabet, and then I just go in and copy an image, go to my Excel. I've already got my N in there, but I wanted to show you. So we're going to paste it, but you see it does the whole outline. I don't need that whole outline. So I'm going to go into my crop feature and then crop that as close as I can. And then I took some measurements on my board, what size I could do the lettering. So see then that, and then my lettering can be like 6 inches. So I'm just trying to keep them all pretty much the same. So yeah, just matching it up, and then I'll have an outline to do Santa. I printed, I did the Santa letters. So I think the easiest is just to cut them out. I'm going down. I'm just using double stick tape. Doesn't matter. It's not my painting. Not very strong copier paper. Just put a little bit of that on the back, because all I need to do is trace these. Kind of eyeballing like the spacing in between. I'm just going to take a black marker, and I'm just going to go ahead and trace the letters. I just didn't think pencil would be enough for me to be able to see. I'm just taking my letters off and then transferring them over here. you did not know, I kind of have a thing for Santa. Okay, time to start the process. It's just something about red Santa. Gonna take a couple coats. I'm not worried about my lines. Not worried about my lines. Well, either I'll get them with the multiple coats I have to do. If this is not a made in China piece, this is a handmade piece. So you're gonna have imperfections. You want it to look like handmade, not mass produced, even though I'm doing 2 of them. I knew the pencil marks just would not show up very well for my old eyes to see very well. It took me 3 coats of paint to cover, so now I'm just going to do a little bit of sanding to see what they turned. I love it on them. They're very unique because of you can definitely tell they've been made from an old fence. Personally, I think the black outline of the black marker looks intentional. I kind of like how it pops that. Others might say different, but that's okay. In the gist of it, we all have to do what works for us, and I needed to see those outlines, so I'm just cleaning everything off with. Oh, I wonder what that paint was. Some. Oh, what am I cleaning it off with? Clear wax. Again, they're not terribly heavy, so I'm going to go ahead and just measure. And then put one of the hammer in hangers. Thank you so much for watching today's video. As yes, I did actually work on a couple of these signs for my own house, a couple to resell, and a couple for my own house as I'm doing my Christmas decor. You know, you envision a spot, so I'm like, I needed a Santa sign, and those fence posts were perfect. The wood from Goodwill was a God wink moment, and then I really liked the inspiration from Instagram of the dashing through the snow horse, and I'm like, can I recreate it? I think I did an okay job. Yeah, I bought new vinyl. Other than having to learn how to cut it because it's a different texture. Y'all do that like, oh, I haven't bought new vinyl in 2 years because I buy the big 50-yard rolls or whatever, and I don't make it. I mean, I do enough, but not enough to go through like mass producing of signs or anything. And I've got it. I'll figure it out. But to be bleed under resistant, it is not false advertising. So anyway, thanks for watching today's video. I hope I've inspired you to create your own one-of-a-kind signs to put in your Christmas decor. We will see you next time, and you can see what we're up to. Bye.